Hey everyone, welcome back to the cabin. This week we're doing some wood stove maintenance at our off-grid homestead. As our wood stove is over 20 years old, it was well past time to replace the door gasket. I apologize ahead of time as I missed filming an important piece of the install. Are you kidding me right now? We also replaced the secondary air tubes in the firebox with new stainless steel ones. Thanks for following along. Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So this week, I'm going to change out the gasket on our stove. For the last couple weeks, it has slowly deteriorated and is no longer making a decent seal. That can be dangerous because you're pulling sometimes too much air in and your fire can get out of control and burn too hot. It actually warmed up to about 33, 34 degrees. We fed the wood stove right before bed last night, left it all day, and it is just after noon. So everything should be cool. I'm going to empty out all of the ashes in here, pull off the door, and then look at fitting a new gasket on. This is not a sponsored video. This is something I paid full price for, but something that you should definitely do if your gasket on your stove is no longer making a seal. There is a channel here that the gasket runs in, and ours just completely broke, split off in two spots. It's been doing an okay job, still sealing, just putting this up against the edge here. It definitely is time to replace it. The one problem being we had to get it shipped, and it took a few weeks to get here. So, and also, I guess, worrying about a warm enough day to be able to do it. So now you can just pull the old gasket off, which there is barely any cement, so this probably hasn't been done for a lot longer than I care to admit. Not that I own this place for very long, but the key now is to get as much of that old residue, gasket, cement. You got to get all that stuff out. I'm going to grab some paper towels and a screwdriver and see if we can't get that going. Also, a pro tip if you're needing to clean your door, ash, as you can see built up here, ash and water is a better cleaner than most of those commercial cleaners or glass cleaners or whatever. You just get basically make a paste with water and your ash, and you'll have a professional cleaner for your doors. So you could use a wire brush. The goal is to get as much of this old cement off as possible. Otherwise, it doesn't have a good surface to bond with the new stuff. All right, and then this pack says you should get the channel damp, wet, as well as the rope that you're putting in, the gasket material that you're putting in. So I'm just kind of running a t-shirt scrap through. And it also says to knead the cement a bunch beforehand. Are you kidding me right now? So, like a YouTube noob, I didn't change the battery and it died as I was putting the gasket in. I followed the directions on the package, did an 1/8 inch bead of their cement. It came in a little tube, like 8-ounce tube, something like that. Put in that little rail that I cleaned out an 1/8 inch bead of that black high temp cement that they had.
and then slowly embedded the gasket material into it, making sure not to stretch it out, as that is, you know, a very negative thing to do. Just making sure it falls nice and easy. And then when I got back to the seam, which is right here, I overlapped it a little bit, cut it off with scissors, and then I did more of that seam gasket, cement gasket stuff on that seam so that both butts are butting up to each other, kind of cementing in nice. And then I kind of just try to paint it over the rest of the seam, as that stuff is good for 2000 degrees. So I'm not too worried about that being an issue. I know some people will do tape around it. Others, you know, there's different things that you can utilize for that. But then I went ahead and closed the door just to make sure I could. And now I'm going to let it sit for at least an hour to hopefully set up. If it's not quite dry yet, I will go ahead and give it a little bit longer. But then, you know, we'll get another fire going, because it is probably about not even, probably 55 degrees or so in here, and it's supposed to start cooling off. This week's project, though, is replacing the tubes, the air tubes that are inside. They're secondary air tubes that basically put airflow through to get the fire going nicely. This one just broke off. It's a common problem with this Lopi Endeavor stove. This one just broke off in the middle, just kind of rusted, or I don't know if it was heat related or what. It was pretty consistent online that this is about the age of the stove where this happens, so it was to be expected. The one in the back side is bowed, and then there's a third one up front that still looks pretty decent. But I went on eBay and got some replacements, and these are stainless steel, better quality than the ones that you can buy from Lopi's replacement. Lopi has started making stainless steel replacement tubes, but previously they were just another type of metal. But I bought these on eBay, and I'll put a link down below if anybody's interested, if they're looking to replace theirs for their Endeavor stove. The guy that sells them also sells parts for other stoves as well. He's just a metal manufacturer and does a lot of work for stoves and different things. So definitely worth checking out if you're on the market to do some replacements. Seems like a pretty simple install for these, so let's get into it. So looking in the stove, these pipes, there's one in the middle, that's the one that broke off. There's one in the back, as you can see, it's like bent in the middle, and then there's this one up front. This one in front is a little bit different. The two in back are the exact same. The first thing we have to do, I can kind of just show you on this front one, there are pins here. If you can see that in that collar that's holding the tube in place. So I have to pull that pin out and then move the collar over so that this whole tube can slide out from the other side. Of course, they're kind of rusted in there, but that first one that broke off, the pin was already out of the bar. I should have taken that one out first. Come on. There we go. So basically, we're going to do this in the reverse order. Move it over, pull it out. There we go. As you can see that, there's that collar. So you basically slide it down the tube, put the tube in, slide it back over, and then we're going to put the pins back in the stove portion and the pipe portion so that it basically holds it in place. Oh, there we go. Check that one out. How close it is to having broken. There's the one that says front tube. And then the
these two. See how they have smaller holes than that front one. And then there's only one way they go in, because there is this where the pin connects to. And the collars, I believe, are all the same. They don't have any writing on them to say otherwise. And then they sent replacement pins as well. So I might take a paper towel and just kind of clean up those collars that are on the stove, and see that we can't get the new ones in there. So the holes will be facing out, as that hole on the end, you can see that, is facing down for where the thing will go. And there's these little holes here. You can see where that is. So it slides into that first. And then the collar slides over So for the back one, I put the old pins in because I could not get the new ones in. And this front one, I kind of squeezed them shut a little bit. And I got them in there a little bit, but I don't know how solid. I wish I could get them in a little bit further than they are. All right, there we go. 3 new tubes. They're in there solid. They're not going to come out. I did use one of the old pins in the front because I couldn't get the new one in. The new ones in the middle, they're in there pretty dang solid. And then old ones in the back because it was near impossible to be able to see back there. I'll keep the pins to the side, so if there's any reason they fall out or something, we'll have some spares to be able to touch it up, but I think these will give us years of use. Now, all there is to do is start a fire in here. I usually just grab one thing of birch and airflow. Thanks so much for getting to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this one, give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more content from us, and please share with someone you think might enjoy our channel. Hope you have an awesome week.